Poor Charles. Duke blows a gasket after cruelly blasted for hypocrisy. Waste millions of pounds. Prince Charles has been slammed for wasting millions of pounds in taxpayer money and labelled a climate change hypocrite by a furious anti-monarchy campaign group. The Prince of Wales has been accused of absolute hypocrisy over a polluting flight ahead of the ceremony that saw Barbados and the Queen cut ties. A plane flew 125 miles to RAF Mildenhall in Suffolk for Charles' convenience because the base is nearer to Sandringham. Critics say the Prince should have opted for driving to the aircraft's usual home, RAF Brize Norton in Oxfordshire, in his electric vehicle. While it would have added 2 hours of driving to his journey, it would have reduced his impact on the environment. That decision would have been more aligned with his message at the COP26 climate conference, where he told world leaders, "We have to reduce emissions urgently. We have to put ourselves on what might be called a warlike footing. We know what we must do." The heir to the throne urged them to do more than just talk, which he admitted he had also been guilty of for the past 40 years. The vocal anti-monarchist group Republic took to Twitter to say, "Charles is a climate change hypocrite who wastes millions of pounds on taxpayers' money." The Voyager in which Charles travelled, an Airbus A330 also used by senior government ministers, is the first RAF plane to run on biofuels blended with normal aviation fuel as a transitional step towards creating carbon-free flight. A Clarence House spokesman said on Saturday, "The Prince has campaigned for a shift towards sustainable aviation fuel as air travel is a crucial part of his work." As a result, this autumn the RAF introduced for the first time sustainable fuel and deployed it for this trip. But even though this sustainable mix is presented as a step towards creating carbon-free flight, with manufacturers claiming it can cut a plane's CO2 emissions by up to 80% over its life cycle, scientists but critics say it is still very harmful to the environment. Manufacturers claim it can cut a plane's carbon emissions by up to 80% over its life cycle. But it is mixed with conventional jet fuel and scientists are unclear on how green it is. The Prince is often driven to royal engagements in an all-electric Jaguar I-Pace SUV. And he also owns an Aston Martin DB6, which he has said is powered by surplus English white wine and whey from the cheese process. Recently, Prince Harry speaks out as Prince Charles' cash for honours scandal grows. A spokesperson for the Duke of Sussex has released a statement following a new report linking him to Mahfouz Mareh Mubarak bin Mahfouz, the Saudi billionaire whom an investigation concluded last week had donated money to Prince Charles' Foundation in exchange for a CB honour. The investigation concluded Charles' closest aide Michael Fawcett did coordinate with fixers in the cash for honours scandal. The Prince's Foundation CEO, and a few others, have since stepped down from their posts. Now, following a Times report revealing Prince Harry met privately with the Saudi tycoon who donated to his charity, the Duke of Sussex has released a statement saying he severed ties with the billionaire after growing concerns about his motives. It is disappointing that the Sunday Times, knowing all the facts, has chosen to encourage speculation by being deliberately vague to try to create a falsified link between the Duke of Sussex and the CBE scandal, of which he had no knowledge or involvement, the statement reads. The Duke and his advisers, as well as his non-profit Sentebale, severed ties with Mr. Mahfouz and his associates in 2015, no longer accepting further donations to Sentebale and discontinuing any plans for a fundraising event amid growing concerns over the motives for his support. The Duke had one planned meeting with this donor nearly 8 years ago, did not introduce him to any members of the royal family, and expressed his concerns about the donor.